Alright, so let's get started. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make card candy. And for those of you who do not know what card candy is, it kind of looks like this. And so basically these pieces right here are individual and they're adhered with some dimensionals, and you can take these off and just put them on a card. So I don't know where to get candy from, but basically it's just little individual embellishments that you can put on your card. So I'm going to show you how to make this, but with a different paper stack. So this one I believe is the Playful Palette one. So we're going to show a different one. So first, what we're going to be using is the Jar of Love stamp set, and we're going to be using each of the 3 jars, and then the this cap, and then this little ribbon right here, and then we're going to be using the For You sentiment right here, and then I believe the thanks. And then we're going to be using the Everyday Jars Framelits, and just to kind of show you what these look like. It looks like this, and we'll be using again the 3 that coordinate with the jars, and then the one that is for the lid. And then we'll be using this Serene Scenery paper stack. I'm using a couple of sheets out of this one. So basically, just for time's sake, I pre-stamped everything and I pre-cut a lot of things, because this is basically just to show you how to make it, not necessarily every little step. So basically I got these 3 sheets out of the DSP stack, and so I have this pattern, this one, and that one, and for each one I stamped each of the 3 jars, and the larger jar I put the ribbon on. Doesn't really matter which one you put it on, that's just the one I chose for this. So that's what I stamped for that one. And then I pre-stamped lids. You'll need 3 of those, but as you can see in here, there's we're only using 3. So I have my pre-stamped lids, and then as you can see here with the For You and the thanks, just stamped on Whisper White. This is stamped on Prairie Vanilla, and so I have I messed up there, but we're gonna be using this one that I stamped already, and we're gonna be using this thanks that I stamped already. And so lastly, we'll be using the tags and labels framelits, and if you don't know what those look like, they look like this. And we'll be using the smallest one, which is right here, and then I believe the one that's this one right here, the one under it, and then we'll be using this one right here. So all right, so first what you'll have to do is to cut these out with the framelits. So I'm gonna go ahead and get them mounted just to show you how I do it, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so as you can see, I have everything lined up. One thing you'll notice is I chose my equivalent of this set right here is going to be with this green, so I also need to cut out this tag in the back, which is going to be the 3rd largest tag. So instead of having to cut multiple times while I'm already doing this, I went ahead and just stuck that on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do this just like this, and then I'm choosing for this one, no, this one, sorry, to do this whole cutout. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay the 2nd largest one on here so that I can cut this out, and then for the 3rd one, which is this one, I'm going to use that smaller one. So it's just a way to save time, where if you know you're going to need to cut it out, you might as well do it all on the same sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut out all 3 of those, and I'm also going to cut out the jars. So basically I'm just going to take the picture of the jars that I showed you guys, and I'm going to use this, and I'm gonna cut them out because it's 3 of them. I'm gonna have to do, I don't have more than 1 set of this Framelits, so I'm just gonna have to do it 3 different times. But yeah, so I'm gonna do all of that just to get all the cutting out of the way, along with cutting out my for you and my thanks, and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back and I finished my cutting. So just to kind of show you, you know, this is one of the sheets, and I cut out my 3 jars, so 1, 2, 3, and then my tag. So you're kind of done with this. I keep these for scraps because you can still use that, get some more tags out of there, some more banners. I have this one where again I have my 3 jars and my little tag. And then last one, my 3 jars and my tag. And something I forgot to mention was I did stamp these jars with Stays On Black, and then the green used for the thanks and the 3 lids is Old Olive to match these jars. And then the ink used for the For You is Daffodil Delight. So that is what I used. So just a reminder, so we're doing these. So now it's basically we need to assemble. So as I said, I want to use for the big one, I want to use this design. So basically I want to make sure I get my big jar, and then I want a small jar, and then I have my my tag. So this extra one can just be used for another project. You can kind of throw this on the side. I have a little like coupon binder that I keep kind of extras in. Oh, actually it's right here. Looks like this. So I keep little extras in here for safekeeping. All right, so this one is going to be this. So here I see I need my medium sized jar and my small jar, and then my tag. So this one can be put away. And then for this set, I see I need my large jar and my medium jar. So the small one can be put away. And then I have my tag here. So now we're gonna go ahead and assemble these 3 to put the jar lids on top of them, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my 3 jars with the lids on them. So that's ready to go. Put that aside. And then next I'm going to assemble these 2 tags. And I'm just using, I'm using this because I ran out of the tape. I have to order some more. But yeah, just any kind of adhesive, I just put it flat on there. So I'm gonna work on these 2 now, and I'll be right back. Okay, so these are done. So now we actually have all of our pieces. So we need to assemble the actual package. So basically, if you look at this one that I already did, there's a couple of things going on. So first, there's cardstock in the back, and the cardstock is 5 3/4 by 7 3/4. And so for this one, I decided to do that in crumb cake because that was one of the colors that's in the pack, and it's kind of one of the colors in there. I don't know if you can see it, but so I've already cut it. So we'll need this. And then what we're gonna need, this sheer part is actually wax paper. And so I cut it to the same amount. So it's 5 3/4 by 7 3/4. So I have that. Then you're gonna need your topper. And this is actually 1 piece of cardstock folded over. And I decided to use Delightful Dijon. So that's this, and this is 6 inches by 3 inches. And we're just gonna fold that over. So first what we're gonna do is actually just get the pieces onto the wax paper. And so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm just gonna follow the same pattern. I'm not gonna try to do anything different. I'm gonna follow the same pattern here, and I'll be right back. Okay, actually, I forgot to say one more thing. So basically, typically what you do with these is you put 2 full dimensionals on here with the backing still on it, and you put 1 tiny one in the middle so that with the backing off, so that it can be easily pulled off of the wax paper. So that's an option. I'm making this for myself, so I really don't care about putting the 2 on there. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna take 1 small piece and I'm gonna put it on the back, and I'll kind of come back and show you one as I'm going. So now I'll be right back. All right, so here's kind of what I was talking about. Here's one of the pieces, and I put this little snippet that I actually just get from cutting around the edges of a Stampin' Dimensionals, and this little snippet, and I take the paper off it. But what I was talking about is if you have a full dimensional, you would put one maybe right here and leave the backing on, and put one right there and leave the backing on, so that when you come over here to put this on, so I'm thinking I'm gonna put this one maybe here, yeah, about here. It stays, like it's stuck, but it pulls off very easily. So that's kind of the point. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do the rest of these and I'll be right back. All right, so I finished putting everything on there. So they're all adhered to the wax paper. And you kind of see in the back, I have little pieces adhered to it. Like I said, I'm not gonna waste my dimensionals right now doing the extra, but it's just nice for other people. And you know, it might suck if you put it somewhere and the person who gets it maybe wanted to use it and say they needed that spot. I mean, you can't help that, you know, but I haven't had an issue. So I think it's just perfectly fine. So basically what you do next is you want to take your cardstock that you wanted to use as the backing, and you just kind of lay it on top. And then I use the Stampin' Up cellophane bags, which is 6x8. That's why my dimensions are the way they are. And basically now it's just about getting it in there. So this is how it looks. You know, because we use crumb cake, it's not really showing through as much as like this one is kind of coming through nice and bright. So, you know, maybe you want to use the Old Olive or the Daffodil Delight. Delightful Dijon. Why did I say that? But it doesn't really matter. Some people will put like a label on the back of the cellophane that maybe has like their Stampin' Up business card information, or they may stick a business card in the back of the cellophane right here. It's up to you. So now what we want to do is you want to take your topper and just kind of fold it in half and use your bone folder to crease it. Get it nice and even. And so what you would do is you would take this and then, you know, like with the opening, you would stick this in there. And it doesn't have to go all the way down. Like you can see there's like a little gap here. So you want to kind of stop right before your first embellishment. So I could go as far down as maybe right here and be okay. And basically you would just take your stapler and you would staple. You see how it's a little bit on the edge here, sorry, a little bit on the edge where there's no paper. You can maybe staple there. You staple the paper, really doesn't matter, but I try to get those little edges where there's no cardstock. So just gotta staple these. So I'm gonna staple that real quick. All right, so here I have it stapled. And so kind of the last step, which I did not do here, I will actually show you on another one that I did for a card swap. So this is another one that I used just saying in the word bubble sets that we used to have. This one was difficult because I used vellum, a lot of vellum. But basically what I did here was I just typed in Word what I wanted to call it, and I just printed it out and let me put it back and glued it on another sheet, and then glued that piece onto here just to give it a little bit of, you know, flash. But this is just another example of one that I did. So you can get fancy. Some people have really fancy headers. At this time, I think I was doing Stampin' Up for like a year. I didn't really have all of that knowledge on every little thing you can do, so I didn't do it, but you can do a lot. So I'll just show you again. You know, this was the one I made. This is the one we kind of walked through. And then this is one that I've done in the past. And how, I just want to give 2 examples of how you can actually use it. So this is a card that I made where I did that exact same thing and literally just picked 3 jars and just threw the jars on there with some dimensionals. And then here's another one that I made, which actually it's in the Stampin' Up catalog. I don't remember what page it is. It's 70 something, but this exact card I picked different flowers I made, and literally I just took a jar that I had made and just stuck it on there. So it's great if you just need an embellishment for later. So like for instance, the ones we did not use, I'm gonna keep these, and I may decide one day, oh, let me just throw a sentiment on here and pop it up with some dimensionals. So just never know what you can do with card candy. It just serves as great gifts. It serves as great swap items, and just items where if you're in a hurry and need to make a card, you have something on hand that you don't have to stamp and cut because you kind of already made it. So here are just the examples again. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching. If you want to know the exact materials that I used, if you just click on the link below to my blog post, I actually have all of the links, all the materials and the links to those materials in that post. So if you have any additional questions as well, just shoot me a message. If you enjoyed this video, give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Talk to you later.